join us all in the opening of Session 5. The theme of Session 5 is harmony between present and future. What is the story or message we want to leave for future generations? And I'm privileged to introduce to you the panelists who will lead us in Session 5. From left to right, we have Hafsat Abiola-Costello. Next, Momoyo Ise. Muhammad Ali Buyan. Sumiko Iwao. And Nina Meyerhoff. To begin Session 5, I would now like to invite Alan to speak a little bit more about the design of this panel and share with us some of his remarks to open the session. Thank you.
This, our final panel, is one of imagination. We asked our panelists to imagine themselves ancestors of a future generation more aligned with the Fuji Declaration. That we are the ancestors of a future generation that will know harmony in a way that we had to struggle. And so we asked them to write a letter, to write whatever came to them, as you've seen throughout the day. What is the message they would want to send them? What were the hardships, confusions, and challenges we endured? What have we learned that we want to pass on? And so we'll settle ourselves and listen to these letters, and we'll ask Hafsat to begin for us.
Thank you very much, Alan. It's such a pleasure to be back in Japan. When I came in November and I went back home to Nigeria, I told everyone that in coming to Japan, I felt that I'd come home, and that indeed, the Japanese would have looked at me and seen a foreigner, but I felt so at home in Japan. I felt that I was Japanese. And it reminded me of this Arab astronaut. He's from Saudi Arabia, and he was an astronaut. And he said when he went into outer space, he looked back on the planet Earth, and he saw a great blue ball. There were no borders. There was nothing to tell him that this is Saudi Arabia, your country, in contrast to everywhere else. He then realized that he was an earthling, not a Saudi Arabian. And in many ways, we will come to a time that we realize that we're earthlings. We're not Nigerian, Japanese, American, or any place else. We're just citizens of the planet Earth. And I think that day will come soon. But really, I wasn't even feeling so much like an earthling as I was feeling Japanese. And this is a sincere feeling because in many ways in Nigeria, I'm very introverted and I'm quiet. And I find Nigeria can be so overwhelming. But Japan is made of introverts. It's a country of introverts. I just felt completely at home. And if not for the fact that I think it would be near impossible to be looking for citizenship in Japan, I would try. But really, I think it would be hard to make that, to bridge that big divide between my color of my skin, my hair, and all of the, But they don't realize when they look at me that I very much identify. And I want to honor the Saionji family for hosting all of us, for guiding this process in a very intuitive way and being guided by spirit in this process. I want to honor Mr. Saionji for having a wife that is so deeply rooted in spirit and fire and being able to create a safe container for your spouse. May Allah bless you and reward you. You know, really, you cannot imagine how moving it has been for me to watch how you've always supported your wife. And if you understand that women in the world are struggling to come out, and most women do not find that kind of support, it would be really good for other men to watch you and to model you. I have now 7 minutes, so I'm going to go to my letter. And in the letter, I want to also reflect also on what we've been saying here. So, dear Earthlings of the future, by now, you've arrived into a planet that my generation compromised. In just the last decade, researchers have found, in just the last 10 years, researchers have found that humans have added 800 million people to the earth, emitted 335 billion tons of carbon dioxide, and extirpated 750,000 species of life, destroyed 750,000 species of life. You will be wondering how we could have done so much damage so quickly. The truth is we wielded more power than ever, and the power outstripped our common sense. We've been like a fetus, unaware of its growing body and how that body connects to its mothers, unaware that it depends on its mother for food and protection. Human beings forgot how we are connected to Mother Earth and how we are dependent on it for everything. Or more accurately, we forgot what we used to know in the mad rush for power and for wealth. Now, paraphrasing the sacred Hindu text, the Bhagavad Gita, we have become death, the destroyer of worlds. Today, as scientists the world over cry out about the unprecedented destruction of life on Earth, we are slowly being forced to awaken and face the nightmare we have wrought. What will be our creed as we seek to turn away from the destructive road we have been traveling? In my life, I am guided by 3 lessons. The first one, our wounds are our gifts. Our biggest wounds are our greatest teachings, our greatest source of learning. And for human beings, we hold on to these wounds and we show the world, this is me, I'm the one that was attacked in this way, I'm the one that was exploited in this way, I'm the one that was violated in that way. And by so doing, we're showing that we're resisting what was done to us, but we're also trying to shame the person that did it to us. If our wound is our source of light, then we can at least be generous also to the person that caused us to learn this lesson, because without that injury, there would have been no learning. And if we believe ourselves to be spiritual beings that are all interconnected, deeply connected, then we should know that the injury that was done to us, the person also did to himself. And there's no need to add on to that injury by bringing anger, vengeance, and all kinds of negative energy. Why can we not receive the gift of the lesson and use it collectively to move all of humanity forward? Can we learn to do this? Because in many ways, we spend so much time fighting each other that we can't receive the lesson and use it for our own progress collectively. This we have to change if we want to move forward. My second lesson that I learned is that we need to become balanced to have a harmonious world. Today, we have women and men all over the planet. But do we have more men or more women on the planet? Do you know? More women? More, who else? More men, more women? More male, more females? More women? More women? We have 66 million more men, more males on the planet Earth today. That's the size of the country of France. We have 66 million more men on the planet Earth. We've had more men on the planet Earth for 50 years. The last time we had equal number of men and women was 1960. For over 50 years, we've had more men on the planet, and today it's 66 million more men. And it is because we do not value women, and in many societies in the world, they're consciously choosing not to have baby girls. Let us let that sink in. And in the parts of the world that has the highest gap between men and women is also the parts of the world where we have the highest conflict, because there are not enough women for the men. So we have to bring the world back into balance. And we have to bring the world into harmony by bringing the world into balance. And I think, I know that Dr. Izumi Masukawa is going to be bringing a lady from South Africa who will talk about white lionesses and white lions. And I want to share with you the story of lionesses, because it's very much like the work of Mrs. Saionji. When I came in November, Mrs. Saionji gathered the women that she works with to have a meeting with me. And they reminded me of the white lionesses. White lionesses come together and then they emit a chemical in their body, a smell, that signals to the other that I'm here for you, I belong to you. They signal to each other that they belong to the other. Then they start grooming each other. They start taking care of each other. They take care of their hair. They take care of everything. And in the end, they start to look the same. And it's this way that they build the strength of the pride, because those women lions are powerful. They're strong. It was the same way how your women gathered and you celebrated each other. Before any of the women would speak, Mrs. Saionji would quickly say something so that me, being a foreigner, an outsider, not from Japan, would know the quality of the woman speaking. It is how I know this lady here and all the other women that I've seen here that are in her circle. She introduced them and explained the great achievements that they've made. It was as if she was grooming them. Many women do not do this because we feel that there's not enough space for women. In fact, sometimes you find women fighting each other. We have to learn to groom each other. We have to take lessons from the lionesses. If we want the world to value women, we need to value each other and value women, and then let the world come back into harmony. The last area, and I've run out of time and I don't want to abuse my time, is the issue of the legacy for future generations. There was a journalist that went to an African village, and he wanted the children to run to a tree that was a little bit like maybe where that light is, the distance from where I'm sitting to where that light is there at the wall. And he said he would give them bananas, whoever won. So the children looked at each other. Then they held hands and walked to the tree. So then the journalist said, but why did you walk to the tree? Now you will have to share the bananas. And the children said, if one of us won, the others would have been sad. Now we're all happy. They all won. And I think we have to come to this point as humanity to understand that we will either not win or we will win together. I was just in the United States where President Carter called a meeting on Monday. So I was at the meeting in Atlanta. And at the meeting, President Carter said how America is great. And I said, yes, America is great, and yet it is too small. Because we don't need one great country. We need a world of all of us rising to greatness. And that is where we need to get to as humanity. And that's where I want us to get to through the work and the legacy we will leave for the future. It's a legacy of love. Love can be shared. It's never reduced in being shared. It only multiplies in being shared. So let us leave that legacy for those that will come in the future. My prayer to our children, their children, and the descendants that will come in the future is that by the time they read my letter, you will find that we grew up quickly enough to leave you a world fit for you to live in. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Hafsat. It was a wonderful, moving story. And thank you so much for the Mr. and Mrs. Saionji for such a wonderful day of self-searching and what to really unite ourselves together to really move forward. Now, I am here to this fifth session. I really don't know what kind of message I can send to the younger generations, because looking back the 20th century, and I was mostly kind of doing the job in the 20th century, and I was at the United Nations, and at that time, that I think we had more hope, devastating World War I and II, but we tried to recover from that. We ended the colonial period. We created many independent states, and so and also we addressed to the poverty issues, many issues that we took up. But as we are now facing the 21st century, I think many things are not going the way we would have hoped in the 20th century. In other words, I think all of us that we are coming to the turning point. And in addition to AI, that I really wonder what kind of human being we really have to search, what kind of human being we should have to really cope with this AI and also other main issues. And I really hope that the young people will really look at the current situations, and then I really hope that the young people unite together to think about what kind of ideal state, ideal country, ideal global society they want to have. I think we really have to listen to the younger generation to really create such image so that they can unite together. I am really very concerned now. There are so many concerns, but the one thing is that there are so many growing number of refugees, and at the refugee camps they live. But now, for example, Palestinians, how many generations people are born and people grow up? There is no way out, and there is no hope. I'm not talking only about the Palestinians, but there are many refugee camps today. And what I'm afraid of is that the memory of devastating memory is really inherited from one generation to the next. And we just have to cut somewhere this kind of continued inheritance. I heard often that there are so many children who do not know any peaceful day. They don't know what the peace is like. And with this memory that they really carry on their own hopeless life, and also their memories of this situation will be inherited by the next generation. We just have to cut all these transmitter of the bad memories. But the thing is, I don't know what really moves to the world change. There are all of us now today, we gather together to think about peace, but there has to be some kind of ways, and this was reflected in Madame Saionji's original speech, that what can we do something. We have to really unite and move. Because otherwise, this really hopeless generations will just increase, and that will destabilize the whole world. And so I'm really grateful for thinking about what our human being could be in the 21st century, and with AIs and so forth. But there is a tremendous problems here in terms of wealth of the discrepancies, and also this whole spiritual area and the devastating really memories to continue in the world. And I just wanted to make sure I prepared the letter, but I just wanted to appeal directly to you. And also, I'm searching what kind of message I can give to the younger generation. We have to recognize that it's going to be a different approach. It's going to, we do have to have a new, really, approach to this. And in that situation, in the 20th century, we really freed ourselves from the colonial powers. And then we have a nation-state establishment, and then the states, countries, governments were supposed to be taking care of its citizens. But I don't think it's really going well, and then we are really coming to a political turning point and economic turning point. And that's what I really would like to ask you. Any suggestion for kind of message that we can encourage the young people to have? And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much to Saionji family and all of the other Fuji Foundation team members and all the participants. We talked about balance. I believe in two spheres, and on one side, I do believe that everything is all about balance, whether it's our personal life, social life, economic, global, political, everywhere there's a balance. The day you laugh too much, there's something is going to happen next day that you will be sad and it'll balance out. It may happen within an hour, it may happen week, year. And even in the political sphere, when you have a big mouth in the White House, South Korea just elected a completely opposite person to deal with North Korea. The reason I mention about North Korea, because my letter to the future generation is going to refer to that. And because we are in Tokyo, Japan is the only country in the world that went through the horror of the special bomb, and that's what we are afraid of. And right now, the tension with North Korea could be in that point. So that's the focus of my letter. So this is what I'm telling the future generations, provided they are still there, mind you. In order to read the letter, they have to be there first. Dear future generations, I may or may not be alive when you're reading this letter. I'm from USA, and we have a president who no one thought was going to be elected, but he is now the president. As a real estate developer, he had been very successful in negotiations. However, when it comes to deal with another country with nuclear weapons, it is a whole different ballgame. I'm afraid that his new style may make North Korean authorities very nervous, and some unthinkable may happen. And that would be the beginning of a worldwide destruction. I'm one of those who think the world would be better off without any nuclear weapons. All countries must dismantle all the nuclear weapons as soon as possible. But unfortunately, that is not going to happen. Countries with thousands of nuclear weapons will eventually get to use those either out of anger, insecurity, misunderstanding, computer malfunctions, or by simple accidents. I hope that day never come, but I'm afraid it will come. None of us have any comprehension of the catastrophic destruction powers of those deadly weapons. We have weapons that are 1,000 times more powerful than those that were dropped in this country. If you're reading this letter, I am relieved to some extent that you are still living under the same fear that we lived. Our generations have failed to make the planet a better place for you due to three main reasons. In my opinion, those three reasons are human greed, poverty, and the wrong use of religions. I would like to say that those are not mutually exclusive. In fact, those are very closely linked. Currently, only 85 people in the entire world controls more than half of the world resources, and that gives you an idea why there are so many problems around the world. God has given us plenty to work with. World can be a peaceful place for your generation. We fail to do that, but I hope your generation can at least try and do the following. Number one, make human greed a shame. Learn, practice, and use the divine spark to guide your actions to make the world a better place. Use both body and spirit as you move forward. Establish a balance between humanity and nature. Do everything possible to save our planet so that you can leave it for your next generations. Create lasting peace by using the power of inner and outer worlds. Use prayer, meditation, and mindfulness for lasting peace. Now, I'm writing you something definite needs to be done, which we failed to do, is change the word politics to public service and politician to public servant. Elect only people who have high level of honesty and integrity to the public offices. Remember, you must change the governance system to have real change and impact. Under the current system, nothing will improve. And this is an incomplete letter. I want you to figure out the rest. Thank you.
Before I read a short letter that I prepared about 2 a.m. this morning, I'd like to say a few words. We have been talking and discussing, trying to deepen our understanding of creating the world in harmony and balance. But I will give you an example of being in a state of imbalance and out of harmony. Yeah. Then that would help deepen our understanding of how important balance and harmony is. I had to chair another meeting at 1:30 this afternoon, and so I had to rush to go there and come back. So you can see that I'm totally out of harmony and balance. And but I still feel that there is a kind of contribution that I can make by being off balance. Now, I'd like to read the letter that I have prepared, the message that I want to leave for the next generation. I would like to give my message mainly on the following 4 points. But before I go on, let's remind ourselves of what Khalil Gibran wrote on children in his famous book, Prophet, which I translated into Japanese and published when I was young. Let me quote, "You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of infinite, and he bends his might that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrows that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable." So here we can see the balance we weave between the generations. The pace of social change is accelerating, as everyone knows. The next generation is going to live in the world beyond our imagination. Therefore, I would like to say the following as a stable bow. Firstly, no matter how fast and vast the society may change, I wish for the next generation, living with diverse people, to serve others with respect. No matter how much the society may change, conflicts, hatred, and sorrow always remain with people. If you are hurt, please be sure to exert your efforts so that others will not experience the same harm or pain. Secondly, in order for the next generation to be stable bows to the generation following, be sure to acquire core knowledge and flexible ability to apply it in multiple situations. Nobody can steal nor take away the education you acquire. I started a girls' secondary school in Tanzania to produce future women leaders, as no one can take away the education the girls will gain at the school. Thirdly, cherish and treasure every minute and every day, remembering that it may end suddenly without any warning, but you still remain in harmony and balance. I learned and understood it so very clearly when a tsunami swept away beloved ones 6.5 years ago. I cannot forget this fact, and ever since, I make sure to finish what I can today before the day ends. As it happens, tomorrow I'll be hospitalized for my back surgery. I will make sure that I return any material things that I have borrowed. If not, I'm leaving everything clear to others in case I won't come back from the operation. Lastly, I wish to add a few concrete things, remembering those sweet faces of my students in Tanzania. I want them to cultivate rich social capital during their years at the school, Also, since they will be living in the age of artificial intelligence and higher level information technology, they should acquire the skill to draw on the necessary information out of the sea of big data in order to make wise and appropriate judgments and balanced choices if they should become lost in the darkness. Now, as a last word, I want to say that as I was coming back from the other conference, I thought that I tried to find something divine in myself, but it was rather difficult because as I was canceling my insurance during tea break, that would be useless for my operation. But even then, I thought that what we need for next generation is declaration of interdependence rather than declaration of independence that we had. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, I wish you speedy recovery, for sure. Yeah. I want to say I really give my love to the Saionji family. I feel so connected, and I want you to know it's been a long time, and I have deep feelings, deep feelings, so thank you. And I think it's very interesting I'm the last speaker because there were panels, and somehow I must have known what they were going to say because I think it's a summary of what has been said today. So I'd like to share. It's a letter I wrote. And normally I don't speak reading, but this is my letter. With all my heart I say unto you, go, my children, go into the world as you really are. There is a call today for you to remember your soul and your soul's intention, for each of you has a gift to offer the world. It is a time for revealing this inner self and linking the outer with the inner. You no longer must hide behind expectations. You must no longer disguise who you are and what you know. The time is now for change, and you are the change. Be empowered. Trust yourself. Humans have always been in the process of evolving. We have moved from a hunter-gatherer to an agricultural gardener to industrialist to the technology age to the merging of the possibility that we are one humanity and possibly having telepathy. You are so fortunate to be the first generation to jump into the next evolution of humankind and to become this understanding of our interconnectedness beyond words into the experience of what it means to be one humanity. This phase of evolution is a major leap. It is so clear as we elders observe that the call is now for the emergence of a new paradigm so we may exist as this collective embracing the knowing. We are fulfilling our destiny, which has been to identify the human being as a spiritual being incarnated with the realization that separation is only on the outside and the world is truly interdependent. Now it is your turn on the wheel of life to know even more, and that is to know we are one. What does this mean? This means we are all in oneness. We can use these words, but you will experience them and translate them into actions. Your lives will be different than ours, fully accelerated, as well as no longer marking separation and success as separate, but rather understanding that you will be able to release all fear and move into love, and that there is no need for barriers anymore. So young people, hear your own voice, the voice of the divine spark within. Define your opportunity to be your own self. Carry the torch of change. Look around you and observe the demands of the times and take positive action without fear. Our environmental degradation is only a reflection of the understanding that we must act now. Sustainability is no longer a question of choice, of choosing to care or not to. We must, and you must, move from fear and separation to oneness and love and unite all of life. So each day when you awake, my young friends, just think how you can affirm the day. Are you able to awake and breathe in the sun and clouds and say to the world, I am happy for this day? Imagine if you could use your mind as a tool for your own development and become all you have dreamed. This tool that lives inside of you is the compass for your future. Direct it towards the sun. Become the sun and light the way for others. I do know you carry the genes of transformation. You are the torch bearers. So it is you to know and understand that we as elders are only the bridge markers, but it's you who bring the change. You are the engine of transformation. The world awaits you. Come and walk lightly on our planet and share your knowingness that lies inside of you. Educate us to know the new holistic systems that wish to emerge. Tell us new stories. Change the narrative. Carry your genes. You are the ones. You know inside of yourself what must come forward. Trust yourself. Go forward. Do not look back, but rather know you are standing on the shoulders of all the pioneers who have spoken so much of consciousness and awareness and the demands of the times. You will find this normal, as this is all you know, but please know your knowing is new. We must hear you, and for us to hear you, you must know what you wish to say. So please, my young friends, seek first inside of you, then take what you know and go forward into the world, uncovering the new world wanting to be born. Ask, who am I, born to these times, and what can I offer the world now? This will lead you into the miracle of following your own footsteps. And as you walk around the world in your mind or in the real, you will learn that everyone is your brother and sister, and thus caring for them is caring for yourself. Slowly, with this thinking applied to all fields of endeavors, we will have a world that works, and it will be due to your efforts. No more unneeded poverty, no degradation of our environment, no wars, no more hate, just understanding and learning that the age of peace can land upon us now. Heaven and earth will be unified, and we will know how to live between the two worlds for the sake of our evolution and the evolution of our earth into full sacredness. So please use the Fuji Declaration as your platform and gather with others and know how to say that you follow the call to consciousness for balance in total harmony. All is truly possible.
Oh, what a wonderful day. We are very touched, moved by your wisdom, stories, everything. And today's theme, I think, symbolizes my couple. Oh, I don't say we are well balanced or in harmony, but at least, you know, it's a no. So I shouldn't say. So some, you know, you can say, but we don't say. But anyway, there is big contrast. I'm rather rational and logical, a practical person. And as you understand, she's a kind of emotional, visionary person. And sometimes it's very hard because she receives a great vision, and I have to think about how to implement, how to proceed. So that, but anyway, today's gathering, I think, was a big success with combining energy of, and also three daughters and the design team of Alan, three daughters, Miyazaki-san, Fumi-san. Thank you very much for your big contribution. And, but still there is the big question, what's next? And what's next in our personal lives? What's next for the human civilization? And I think the challenge is to move from theory and principle to implementation and action. And we are encouraged by the word of Sam Baird, action person. We need action. But, you know, without having the good partnership or networking, we can make it happen. Because one organization has limitation to do something, but with the cooperation of these wonderful people with different background, we can collaborate and to make great influence to the world. And we would like to discuss deeper about the next step of the concrete implementation. We still have 2 more days, so we have time to discuss more about those things. And I finally like to introduce the words of His Holiness Dalai Lama, because after listening all the stories and the words, I got reminded the words that His Holiness Dalai Lama spoke at the gathering in India when I presented a peace poll. That was more than 20 years ago. At the time, he spoke that we are all cosmic travelers. That he meant we human beings are visiting to this planet Earth with the mission, with individual mission to complete. And after completing the mission, probably you go to some other place, or maybe come back to this beautiful planet Earth as reincarnation. And we have responsibility to pass on these beautiful planet Earth to the next generation, to a group of next travelers to this Earth. So we would like to, and this is the great step. I mean, 2 years ago we started the Fuji Declaration, and we had discussion, and last year we had meeting with the theme of Soul of Women. And this is the 3rd time, but I think this is the big 3rd step to advance this movement to the bigger next step. So we thank you very much for your precious presence, and we have shared wonderful wisdom and stories from all of you, including the observers, and we are so much grateful to all of you for your contribution. And see you soon again. Thank you very much.
もうただオンリーワンワンありがとうございました。心より感謝申します。皆様どうぞ。
Thank you so very much. And at Fuji, we will have even more wonderful event, which is going to be soul touching, surrounded by beautiful nature. So we will feel gratefulness to the Mother Nature.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Saionji, for your warm words, and what a tremendous day we've had.